This one's from Pro Football Network. It's a player who could be traded from every NFL team this year. They say Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Browns signed 2 experienced backup quarterbacks, Jameis Winston, Tyler Huntley. DTR is still 3 years remaining on his rookie contract, and another team could find value in that, trading for an athletic quarterback. The one thing, Huntley's only 2 years older than DTR. DTR is 24, Huntley's 26. I had to look that up. Yeah, I could see him being traded. If somebody offers them a decent draft pick and you have Huntley sitting there, I think you'd be, if I'm looking for a quarterback that I got to play, I'd probably rather have Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, I got to be honest, Dave. Like, there's not a ton of notable position battles with this team during camp, as we know, because spots 1 through 41, maybe 42, are all kind of settled, right? Like we know what generally the starters are going to look like on this team. But when that's the case, you got to kind of look down the depth chart to find some things that might be interesting or some battles that might get interesting. I think wide receiver has some. I think this quarterback room is one of the more fascinating stories as camp plays out. We know Deshaun is set in stone unless some team like loses a quarterback in the preseason and offers the Browns like a Godfather deal to get Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston is probably safe. So you're kind of anticipating both those guys are going to be sticking around. Now, Andrew Berry talked a little bit the other day about how they generally like to keep 3 quarterbacks. So I think that's an interesting note for people to kind of hold on to, that they likely will try to keep 3 this year, even though they only kept 2, I know, last year. And one of those was DTR at the time. But it's the battle between Tyler Huntley and DTR is a fascinating thing over the next few weeks, because I think the piece you shared is right. Like, he could be on the chopping block. It could be Tyler Huntley who ends up on the chopping block in terms of a trade. We know last year Andrew Berry swung that deal with Josh Dobbs at the end of training camp and got a pick back in return. Does he try to do something similar this year? I think that could be on the table. So I'm definitely fascinated to watch that group play out, because they've spoken very highly of DTR, and I think they do view him as like a long-term potential backup for the franchise. But in the same breath, why'd you bring in Tyler Huntley if you don't think he has a chance to make this team and have be another solid backup option for you? So I'm going to be keeping my eye on that one for sure, because that is a scenario that could play out, whether it's Huntley or whether it's DTR. I think that piece is definitely onto something there.
Yeah, you're right. That'll be one of the ones that you'll want to watch during the preseason for sure.